Nayana, Nilanjan.
Yes, ma'am.
Nilanjan, since from 3 classes, sir, you were not there. Huh? If this is the case, then definitely you'll have a shortage of attendance. Nishant, Rajeshwari,
Present, ma'am.
Ramya,
Present, ma'am.
Rashmi,
Present, ma'am.
Srinivas, Sunil,
Present, ma'am.
Ma'am, Kishore present, ma'am.
yeah, Kishore, Mad Kishore.
Ma'am, Anu present, ma'am. Ma'am, Anu present, ma'am.
In that we have seen about SQL injection. So before I start, I just welcome your senior Preeti. Everyone listening? Listening?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, she'll be demonstrating how the SQL injection with the database, that is SQL injection, she'll be showing how the injection is working. Practically, she'll be showing. I welcome Preeti for this class and I request her to share her screen and start showing the SQL injection. And she'll be showing SQL injection with respect to database, how the SQL injection is working practically. We have just seen in the theory part how it is working, but she'll be showing SQL injection with using a practical thing, and parameterized also she'll be showing. Yeah, now I request Preeti to share and start explaining.
Yeah, ma'am.
Everyone are there? Everyone are there, right? Please, this is very important. She's showing so much practical thing. So you have seen in this only she's demonstrating with code. Yes, Preeti.
To see my screen.
Yeah, and we are able to see. Open the PPT.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Yeah, fine. Yes, Preeti, we are able to see.
Injection attack is a web-based attack. In this type of the attack, the data will be injected to the web application so that it will manipulate the whole application. So the attacker will get the required information. So there are many type of injections like SQL injection, code injection, log injection, like that. So SQL injection is most common type of the injection attack. In SQL injection, there will be a customized string will be passed to the web application. So it will manipulate the query interpreter and gain the access to the unauthorized information. SQLi can be prevented up to some extent by proper validation of data by enforcing the least privilege principle. So I'll be demonstrating SQL injection.
Everyone, please listen and concentrate and listen. She's demonstrating how the SQL injection is working.
Okay. First, I will show the design part. Uh, there are two buttons and one text box. For coding purpose, I have used Visual Studio, and for the database connection, SQL Server Management Studio. This is the design part, and it is a combination of the Bootstrap code as well as ASP code. Like we'll be having the text box, two text box, and this is a button to get all the details, and there is a grid view to load the data from the database dynamically by using the inputs. So in web.config, like this is how we will be connecting the database from front end. Here we will be using the connection string. And DBCS is the name of the connection string. In the connection string, we'll be having some credentials like username, password, database name, and the server name. This is it. And there will be a security protocol, that is integrated security. And in default .ASPX, this is the coding part. In the first button, like there is a get all employee details. There is a configuration manager. It gets the detail from the web.config, like where previously we discussed about that. And in SQL connection is a method which is a built-in where it can communicate with a database and gets the connection string and will be getting the parameters which was initiated earlier. And SQL command, it is a simple DML query. It is a simple DML query which gets the data from the table employee. Here the sample is the database name, and DBO is the schema, and table employee is the table name. And like data source is a property of the preview. Okay, I'll be demonstrating. We are getting all the details from the employee table. So search by name will get only a specific details about the person. If the attacker is trying to give the statement like this, like if the here semicolon indicates a two statement, John as a one statement and delete from the table name is a another statement. If the attacker is trying to give such query, all the data will be deleted from the original table. So when we check here, we won't get any details. All the data will be deleted. So how we can prevent that means, like there are two methods. One is parameterized query. Another second way is using a stored procedure. So for parameterized query, we'll be using other to get the details of the particular field. So now the data has been deleted, so we have to insert all the details.
What is done is she demonstrated the SQL demo. So there was a table where there were so many values in the table. So in that table, if there is no SQL injection, so ordinary one, you don't know how the SQL injection, but some people will insert And what they'll do is whatever is there to hack complete data or destroy something, what they do is they use that line where John semicolon delete from that particular table. If they execute that thing, so John uh, complete table will be get deleted. So to avoid that deletion, so what she is showing is she is using two methods. One is parameterized one, and another one is a PLSQL. So that's what she is doing. Now she has deleted because someone hackers have deleted the complete database. Now again she is inserting the values into the tables using the insert and which you have learned in your DBMS. Yes, yes, Preeti.
So now the data has been inserted. So prevention method.
Execute Preeti. Show the data.
It's database, ma'am.
Yes, yes. Just now you showed database, no? That one.
This one.
No, no, not this. Link you execute. There you database was coming, no?
Yeah, ma'am. This one.
Go for web link, web page, printed design part. Yeah, execute this. Yeah, you can see here. This is a SQL demo, SQL injection demo. You can, when she's clicking on get employee details, all the complete values from the table, it is getting displayed. So last time she used John colon delete from the table. So if she don't delete now, because again it is big. So once if she execute this line, no, this complete table will get deleted from the database. The hackers will be deleting like this to avoid this, so that the database should not be deleted. So in that case, you have two options. One is SQL injection, one is a PLSQL. Yes, Preeti. First show the SQL injection.
Yes, ma'am. So the first method is parameterized query. So for accessing a particular field, we will be using @ symbol here. So I'll be executing the same thing. So get all the employees detail, and I'll be giving the John. I'll get the same details, like particular person's detail. I'll be giving the same like previously did. So now the data will be safe and secure if we use stored procedure or parameterized query. So the John data has not it has not been deleted. So when we use stored procedure or parameterized query, the data will be safe and secure. If we use stored procedure, it will be even more effective. So I'll be demonstrating the stored procedure now. Get all the employee details. John. The same thing will be displayed. So the data will be safe and secure. Using parameterized query and stored procedure, it will convert the value to the solution explorer string. Hence, the injection will be avoided. That's it, ma'am.
Okay, 1 second, Preeti. Others understood what she has explained. You want her to explain it again, demonstrate again, or she will leave? Yes, others, please respond. You want her to execute again and show? Anyone, anyone? Yes, Preeti, it was very good. You have showed how the SQL injection is working because they have in their syllabus. But I just request you again to demonstrate the same thing once again,
Okay, ma'am.
so that let them see. And can you please increase the font size of the code?
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. Able to see everyone? Anyone have to respond? She has increased the code. Yes, yes. Yes. Yes, Preeti, you can start. Start just for from the beginning.
Yes, ma'am.
Without using SQL injection, what is happening? With injection, what is happening? And in injection also, she has taken two things. One is parameterized, another one is a PLSQL. Yes, yes, Preeti, you can continue.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Firstly, okay. In default ASPX code, it's a combination of Bootstrap code as well as ASP code. Here we have chosen like one text box and one grid view and two buttons.
Execute, execute. Preeti, execute, then show. Yeah, that's what this screen she is explaining. Yes, yes, Preeti, you can continue.
There are two buttons and one text box. And yeah, in web.config, config here, like we are connecting to the database from the front end. Okay, like there consists a connection string. The connection string consists of the server name and credentials such as username, password, and the database. This one, the server name and the user ID and the password and the database name, and there will be a security protocol which is SSPI. And next one, yeah. In the coding part, we have used page load. Page load is used to get ready for the usage of the website. Page load. Now, this is a ADO.NET code. In this, there is a button get employee click. The configuration manager, it gets the detail from the web.config. And SQL connection is a method which is a built-in, like where it will be connected to the database, and yeah, it will be connected to the database, and the parameter is CS. And SQL command here, it is a simple DML query which gets the data from the table employee. Here, sample is a database, and DBO is a schema, and table employee is a name of the table name. And it's a connection, like where we are opening the connection, and it's a grid view, and the property of the grid view is a data source. And in this command, it will take a select query, the whole thing, and it will bind the data, and it's mandatory to close the connection. And the same thing, the same code will apply in the second part, but we are getting the details from the text ID. It will search by the name. So I'll execute again. So you get all the employee detail. If you want to search particular person name, it will display only that particular person name. If the attacker is trying, or attacker or hacker is trying to give such statements like John and semicolon, semicolon is considered as a two statements. First, it will check for the John, and second, it will delete all the details from the table employee. So when we click on that, so all the data will be deleted. So again, we have to insert that. So now the data has been inserted. So prevention of that is, there are two methods. One is a parameterized query, and the second one is using stored procedure. So when I execute this, so all the data will be displayed. When I give the same thing like the delete, the data won't get deleted. The data will be safe and secure. So using parameterized and stored procedure, it will convert the value to the solution explorer string. So hence the injection will be avoided. Ma'am?
Yes, Preeti. Yes, fine. Thank you. Thank you, Preeti. Thank you, Preeti. Thank you for your wonderful session. Thank you from all the students of cybersecurity. It really helps them out how to understand your topic, what topic you have given. Thank you, Preeti.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ma'am, can I leave, ma'am?
Yes, Preeti, you can. We can.
Okay.
Thank you once again, Preeti.
Thank you, madam.
One second. Anybody, any of you wants the code? She may mail you. She may give to you for your people to try out. Preeti, how is it very difficult for them to at least practice this, or is it easy?
It's easy, ma'am.
It's easy.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Anybody is interested in practicing her way, what she has done? If you want, she'll give the code. If you don't want, yes, someone is saying something. Yes, anybody wants the code? Srinivas, Rashmi? Anybody answer? Okay, Preeti, thank you. Thank you, Preeti. Manjunath, you want the code?
Ma'am, group ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಡಿ ಇಸ್ಕೊಂಬಿಟ್ಟು so that it will be useful.
Okay. So, Preeti, they wanted your code. They wanted it to be in the group. Can you please send to me so that I can forward to them? Preeti? Preeti? Whether her connection got closed? Preeti?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You just send the code to me. I will forward that to them.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. I'll send you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, you can stop presenting. We'll continue.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so that was about SQL injection, what she has explained. So next we move on. Okay, in the yesterday's class, what we have seen, so that's what she has even presented in the demonstrated. What she has demonstrated, how the SQL injection is working. So this we have seen how the in a few classes, so how all these are working. So she demonstrated what is SQL injection. SQL injection is a code injection technique that exploits a security vulnerability occurring in the database layer of an application. So that's what she has created some database, and she has inserted so many details, so data in the SQL. So then she was, without SQL injection, the attacker can delete your database. So to avoid that, the attacker should not delete, she has used two things. One is parameterized method of SQL securing the database, and one more was using a PLSQL. She demonstrated both. One is SQL, one is parameterized. In that case, what you have to use? You have to use a @ symbol. That is called as a parameterized. And one more PLSQL. She executed both and just showed you. So when you click on the database, the complete database was displayed. So then she was selecting a John, searching in the database only John, the John was displayed. And if there is no SQL injection, the attacker may delete. How they can delete? That statements also she has given, John : delete from table. So this is a statement where the attacker can delete your complete database. That's what, using this statement, they can delete your database. So to avoid that, there were two methods. One was SQL SQL injections. In that, one is parameterized, another one was PLSQL. So in parameterized, what you have to do? We send the parameters in such a way that @ symbol is used in such a way that if the attacker trying to delete your database, it should not get deleted. It still should be secure. So that's what she saw. Same way, same concept is even also implemented in a PLSQL. That's what about SQL injection. So SQL injection is a code injection technique that exploits a security vulnerability occurring in the database layer of an application. The vulnerability is present when user inputs in either a filtered incorrectly for string, literal, escape characters embedded in SQL statement, or user input is not strongly typed and thereby unexpectedly executed. Attackers target the SQL server, common database server used by many organizations to store confidential data. During an SQL injection attacks, malicious code is inserted into the web form field or the website code to make a system execute a command shell or other arbitrary commands. Just as legitimate user enters queries and addition to the SQL database via a web form, the attacker can insert commands to the SQL server through the same form of field. So the blind SQL injection is used when a web application is vulnerable to an SQL injection, but the result of the injection are not visible to the attacker. The page with the vulnerability may not be the one that displays data. However, it will display differently depending on the results of a logical statement injected into the legitimate SQL statement called for the front page. So in the SQL injection, attacker can obtain some basic information if the purpose of the attack is reconnaissance, may gain access to the database by obtaining username and their password, add new data to the database, modify data currently in the database. How to prevent SQL injection attacks? What are the things? SQL injection attacks occur due to poor website administrator and coding. The following steps can be taken to prevent SQL injections: input validation and modify error report and other prevention. So the default system account for SQL Server 2000 should never be used. So isolate database server and web server, both should reside on a different machine. So what they suggest is, so the database and the web servers should be in a two different systems so that the attackers cannot attack the data. So most often attackers may use the server extended stored procedure, such as, that's what she showed, stored procedure in the SQL. XP command shell or XP grant login in SQL injection attacks In such cases, in case such extended stored procedure are not used or have unused triggers, stored procedures, user defined functions, etc. Then these should be moved to an isolated server. So next we move on to a buffer overflow. Buffer means what? Temporary space used to store anything. So in the same way, buffer overflow means what? Suppose if you have some size and you cannot fill again. So something like your overhead tank where it is filled and still you are pumping water into that, then definitely it will come out. So because the tank was full. Same way here, buffer overflow. Buffer means a temporary memory where it can delete the overflow the thing. So buffer overflow occurs when a program or process tries to store more data in a buffer, temporary data storage area, than it was intended to hold. As buffers are created to contain a finite amount of data, the extra information can overflow into adjacent buffers, corrupting or overwriting the valid data held in them, although it may occur accidentally through programming errors. Buffer overflow is an increasing common type of security attack on data integrity. So buffer overflow occurs when a program or a process tries to store more data in the buffer. Buffer is what? Temporary data storage area. So then it was intended to hold. So then as buffers are created to contain a finite amount of data, the extra information can overflow into adjacent buffers, corrupting or overwriting the valid data held in them. So although it may occur accidentally through programming error, before buffer overflow is an increasingly common type of security attacks on the data integrity. Then type of buffer overflow. What are the different types of buffer overflow? Stack based buffer overflow, NOPs, heap buffer overflow. So what is stack buffer overflow? Stack buffer overflow occurs when a program writes to a memory address on the program's call stack outside the intended data structure. Usually what we do, we fixed length buffer. So now in the stack also what we do, we fix some size. So stack should be of 10 size where it can hold so much data. So that's about a type of buffer overflow. So stack buffer overflow occurs when the program writes to a memory address on the program call stack outside the intended data structure, usually a fixed length buffer. The attacker may exploit stack-based buffers overflow to manipulate the program in various ways by overwriting. So then NOP or NOOP, no operation or no operations performed, is an assembly language which enables the developer to force memory alignment to act as a placeholder to be replaced by active instructions later on in the program development. NOP opcode can be used to form an NOP slide which allows code to execute when the exact value of the instruction pointer is intermediate. Heap buffer overflow is a mechanism where heap buffer overflow occurs in the heap data area when an application copies more data into a buffer than the buffer was designed to contain. How to minimize buffer overflow? So the following methods will definitely help to minimize such attacks. Assessment of secure code manually. So we have to assess the code manually, assessing the code manually, assessment of secure code manually, disable stack execution, compiler tools, dynamic runtime checking. Various tools are used to detect, defend buffer overflow. Attacks on wireless network. Even when people travel, they still need to work. The employee is no longer tried to an office location and is in effect boundaryless. So the following are different types of mobile workers, TEDRI or remote worker. So maybe some remote things we may take. Then roaming users, we may move from one state to another state or from one country to another country. Then those users we are calling it as a roaming users. Nomad and road warrior. So some people will be keep traveling. Then those people are called as a road warrior. So wireless network extend the range of traditional wired networks by using a radio waves to transmit data to wireless enabled devices such as laptops and PDAs. Wireless networks are generally composed of two basic elements, that is access points. Other wireless enabled devices such as laptop, radio transmitter and receivers to communicate or connect with each other. So you can see here wireless networks where wireless access point is there, and traditionally how was the network? It was through a cable from one system to another system. But nowadays, because we have a wireless access points, you can see we can keep it, and in access points, that's what like Bluetooth or even wireless access point, you are limiting that to some distance. So you can see in the 4 different laptops, so the Wi-Fi is connected and within that particular distance. So only within that distance, the Wi-Fi wireless access points are connected to the laptops. So the same way here, the wireless network extends the range of traditional wired networks by using a radio waves to transmit data to wireless enabled device such as laptops and personal devices. So that's what here you can see. This is this message or data is transferred to the laptops using a wireless point. And how this wireless point or how is the network? It is using a radio waves. So wireless network are generally composed of 2 basic elements. One is access point, other wireless enabled device such as laptops, radio transmitter and receivers to communicate or connect with each other. So the wireless enabled devices, so laptops we have everywhere nowadays. We have laptops or even our devices also, handheld device. There are so many devices where we may have a radio receiver and transmitters. Why do we require to communicate or to connect? That's what in this figure it shows how we are able to connect. So then traditional techniques of attack on wireless networks, how was before these attackers were doing penetration of wireless network through authorized access is termed as a wireless cracking. There are various methods that demand high level of technology skills and knowledge and availability of numerous software tools made it less sophisticated with minimal knowledge skill to crack either it may be WAN or LAN. Sniffing tools are available, spoofing tools are available, then denial of services are available, man in middle attack is also available. So then encryption cracking. So these are the traditionally they were using. So the theft of internet hours are Wi-Fi based fraud and misuses. Wireless network into homes enable the internet on the fingertips of home users. In case, unfortunately, he or she visits a malicious web page, the router is exposed for an attack. As the networks become stronger and more prevalent, more of the signals are available outside the home of a subscriber, spilling over into neighbors' apartments, hallway, and the street. Be careful with use of WAP when you are using a WAP to gain access to computer on a network. Be aware of the local laws, legislation where you are doing it because things can become dangerous from security and privacy as well as well legal perspective. So theft of internet towers and Wi-Fi based frauds and misuse, wireless networks into the home. Home enables the internet on the fingertips of your home users. In case, unfortunately, he or she visits a malicious web page, the routers is exposed for an attack. As the network becomes stronger and more prevalent, more of the signals are available outside the home of the subscriber, spilling over into a neighbor's apartment, hallway, and the street. Be careful with the use of WAP when you are using a WAP to access to computer or the network. Be aware of the local laws and legislations where you are doing it, because things can become dangerous from security and privacy as well as legal perspective. So how to secure the wireless network? The following summarized steps will help to improve and strengthen security of wireless networks. Change the default settings of all the equipment components of wireless network, example IP address, user ID, administrative passwords, etc. So some systems, whatever we take, always it should be you should not keep them in a default mode. So enable WAP encryptions, change the default SSID, then enable MAC address filters, or disable remote login, disable SSID broadcasting, disable the features that are not used in the AP, example printing, music, sports. Avoid providing the network a name which can be easily identified, example home Wi-Fi. Connect only to secured wireless network. Connected, or do not auto connect to open Wi-Fi hotspots. Upgrade routers firmware periodically. So that was your topic for today's section. So what did we cover in this part? So in this part, we have seen about tools and methods used in the cybercrime, and we have started seeing about an introduction and what are the basic steps the attackers stages the attackers will plan. First one is initially uncovering. So initially they will uncover themselves so that they should not be anyone who can judge they are the people. The next one, network probe, crossing the line towards electronic crime, capturing the network, grab the data, covering the attacks. So these are the things which we see about basic stages of attacks. Proxy server and anonymizer. Proxy server is a computer on the network which acts as an intermediary for connections with other computers on that network. A proxy server has the following purpose: keep the system behind the curtain, speed up access to a resource. Specialized proxy server are used to filter unwanted content such as advertisements. Proxy server can be used as IP address multiplexer to enable us to connect number of computers in the internet. Then anonymizer or anonymous proxy is a tool that attempts to make activity on the internet untraceable. It accesses the internet on the user's behalf, protecting personal information by hiding the source computers, identifying information. Phishing, what do we mean by phishing? Phishing is a fake or a false email which can infect systems with, in addition to stealing personal and financial data. How phishing works? Fisher works in the following ways. One is planning, decide the target, set up, create methods for delivering the message and to collect the data about the target. Attack, fishers send a phony message. Collection or record the information of victims. Identify theft and fraud. Use the information that they have gathered to make illegal purchase or commit fraud. So password cracking is a process of recovering passwords from data that have been stored in or transmitted by a computer system. Examples of guessable passwords include blank, the word like password, series of letters, user names or login names, name of the users or friend or relative, pets, user birthplace or date of birth, or relative or friends. User vehicle number, sometimes they may store their vehicle number as their passwords, or maybe sometimes they try to store office number, then residence number on the mobile or a mobile number. Name of the celebrity who is considered to be an ideal. So sometimes maybe they may keep their passwords as there will be some favorite actors or actresses. So they may keep their names as their passwords, or sometimes they may be follower or some gurus. They may keep their names also. Simple modification of one of the preceding, such as suffix a digit, particularly one, or reversing the order of letters. Password cracking attacks can be classified under three categories as follows: online attack, offline attack, non-electronic attacks. Example: social engineering, shoulder surfing, and dumpsters diving. The online attack. So how the online attack will be done? The most popular online attack is man in middle attack, also termed as packet brigade attack or sometimes Janu attack. It is a form of active eavesdropping in which the attacker establishes a connection between a victim and the server to which the victim is connected. Offline attacks can usually require a physical access to the computer and copying the password files from the system onto the removable device. To do that, there are three methods. One is strong, weak, and random. So weak is one where we can simply, it will be very short and it can be guessed by anybody. So then what is strong? So strong is long enough, random, or otherwise difficult to guess. So random password is stronger if it is included a mix of upper and lowercase letters, numbers, and other symbols when allowed for the same number of characters. The general guidelines applicable to the password policies are the key logger and the spywares. The keystroke logging practice of notation or logging the key struck on a keyboard. Keystroke loggers or key loggers is quicker and easier way of capturing the passwords and monitoring the victim's IT Sevas behavior. It can be classified as a software keylogger and a hardware keylogger. What is software keylogger? Software keylogger are software programs installed on the computer system, which usually are located between the operating system and the keyboard hardware, and every keystroke is recorded. A key logger usually consists of two files that they get installed in the same directory, maybe dynamic link library files and executable files that are installs the DLL files and trigger it to work. Then one more method was a hardware keylogger. So what is hardware keyloggers are doing? Hardware keyloggers are small hardware device connected to the PC and or to the keyboard and save every keystrokes into a file or into the memory of the hardware device. These keyloggers look like an integrated part of such system. Hence, bank customers are unaware of their presence. Anti-keylogger is a tool that can detect the keylogger installed on the computer system and also can remove the tools. The firewall cannot detect the installation of the keylogger on the system. Hence, anti-keylogger can detect installation of the keylogger. This software does not require regular updates of signature basis to work effectively, such as other antiviruses and anti-spy programs. Prevents internet banking frauds. It prevents ID theft. It secures email and install instant message and chatting. Then spyware is a malicious software secretly installed on the user's personal computer. Spyware such as keylogger are installed by the owner of the shared corporate or public computer on purpose to secretly monitor others' users. Virus and worms. computer viruses is a program that can infect legitimate programs by modifying them to include a possible evolved copy of itself. Viruses can take some typical actions, display a message to prompt an action which may send off the virus, delete files inside the system into which viruses enters, scramble data on a hard disk, cause erratic screening behavior, halt the system, just replicate themselves to propagate further harms. Type of viruses, computer viruses can be categorized based on attacks on various elements of the system and can put the system and personal data on the system in danger. Boot sector virus, program virus, viruses, multi-parpate, part-pate viruses, stealth viruses, polymorphic viruses, microviruses, ActiveX, and Java control. Computer worm is a self-replicated malware computer programs which uses a computer network to set copies of itself to other modules. So Trojan horse. So what was a Trojan horse? Is a program or a harmful malicious code is contained inside. So backdrop is a means of accessing to a computer program that bypass security mechanism. So how to protect from these two, that is the Trojan horse and the backdrop? Stay away from suspected websites, surf on the web cautiously, install antivirus or a Trojan remover software. Then what is steganography? Steganography is where you hide the information and send to the target people. And so then stigma analysis is the art and science of detecting message that are hidden in the images. So when I am sending the hidden images to fourth semester students so that others should not identify, then you may use a technique called as a stigma analysis. So that DOS and DOS attack. So that's what your DOS and DOS attack. DOS means what? Denial of service attack or distributed denial of service attack. So then DOS, how these DOS attacks, distributed DOS attack, how to protect from a DOS and DOS attacks. Then we have seen about SQL injection where she demonstrated how it is working. So blind SQL injection. So how to prevent injection attacks? There are methods, something like input validation, modify, error report, other preventions. So then buffer overflow, then we have seen how the buffer is being filled and how it is being done. Then types of buffer overflow, stack-based buffer overflow, NOPs, and heap buffer overflow. How to minimize buffer overflow attack on wireless networks. Remote worker, roaming user, and nomad, and a road barrier. And this is what the diagram which shows that how the wireless traditionally was being used, wired networks by using the radio waves to transmit data to wireless enabled devices such as maybe laptops or personal devices, personal device assistants. So all these can be used using radio waves. So then access point, other wireless enabled devices such as laptops, radio wave transmitters, receivers to communicate or to connect with each other. So this is how the wireless network works. So traditional wired network where a connection between one system to another system was done using a wire, and the wireless access point was also there. So if that wireless access point are there, so then the laptops within that particular range can be used for accessing the internet connection. So I'll stop here. This is about your second part. And traditional, we have seen about techniques and attacks. Then how to secure the wireless networks. So that's about your thing. So I'll stop here and we'll continue in the next class.
Ma'am, Anu
Yes?
present, ma'am. Anu present, ma'am.
Yes,
Ma'am,
Anu, I'll mark it.
Nayana, ma'am.